Check, 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 check. Check, 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 check. Alright, we're gonna try this again. Try this again. Okay. Anything here? Let's. Let's see. Alright, fuck it. We'll have to do the rest later. Okay, there we go. There we go. There we go. Now we're good. Alright, cool. Alright, we're good. Alright, let's kick this thing off.
Welcome to the ESFFL podcast.
Okay. Sorry about that. Hopefully now some of you guys can hear me. Hopefully. Yep. Oh, I'm hearing it. Alright, we're good. We're back. Okay. Like I was saying before, wanted to get it going this year. Took a little bit of time, but I feel like good to have a little bit of a discussion about the league and stuff going on. And with week 3 already officially in the books after that Cowboys win, figured might as well get it started now. This right here is like a little rough look of what we're looking at here in the studio. Nothing too crazy. It's a work in progress. So definitely just wanted to get into this week 3 since right now is kind of the almost panic mode of everything right now. A lot of teams in panic mode right now. So I mean, especially in our league, there's maybe a couple teams not doing so hot after some rough wins. I mean, some rough losses, and I think it's about time to look into some of those things. Got some footage from this last week, highlights going on. We're gonna go and take a look into not only just like some of the teams. Later on during the week, I'm gonna do a couple streams about kind of recapping the past month, going back into from draft, week 1, week 2, some trades, all the movements on the waiver, big plays, the close matchups, just kind of breaking it down throughout the week. And then also, as the days progress, kind of going over things as they come. So just kind of getting a rough start of how things are going now. Wanted to kind of look into week 3 and what it was. So let's take a look into Sleeper here. We'll go into, let's just look into the matchups and see who took some wins and who losses today. Look in here. All right, perfect. Let's take a look at all right, let's take a look here at our matchup here, starting with mine and Zach's. Also got some new sound bites going on. So you'll hear, once we talk through all the teams, you get to hear all the new sound bites that took me forever to make. Starting with the Area 5150s. Yeah. Mandalorian. Got the Area 5150s. 3-0, baby. We're 3-0. Never thought I'd see the day, but after last week's close call against Christian with that 1-point game, in the week 1 against Zach, in the trade battle, took a good one here. Not McGill's best shooting. Let's look into the gritty bang bang. And I got the perfect sound drop for old Z and the boys here.
I say right foot creep, oh, walking with that heater. Look around, stay low, make sure they don't see you.
All right, let's take a quick look here. Starting with gritty bang bang, 88 points to this week. Not the hottest week. I think that's probably a low scoring game of the season so far. But I'm here to say it's not his fault. Josh Allen, still 28 points at that Miami game where it seemed like every other possession was a hit or miss in that Miami game. I mean, they were cramping up big time, struggling to kind of just get things going down at the end of the road there. So it was a hard fought game and very frustrating loss for them. 28 points though to come out of that is incredible. I think that's probably one of the better performers in that game overall. DeAndre Swift, big question mark through the next couple weeks here. And I think we saw that lingering ankle issue be part of the problem here with Swift. I'm not sure if it's just ankle injury, but else now. It's saying we got running back Dan Campbell saying they could miss time with a shoulder injury as well. So that's a tough outing for Swift. I know they're calling for Jamal Williams here. So it's going to be tough, man. It's going to be real tough to see how Swift's outlook's going to look in the next couple weeks. Thankfully, I got Jamal Williams on my bench. So I'm going to probably throw him into the mix next couple weeks or so. Raheem Mostert was a great a trade away option this last week. Yesterday, I think it was. We saw Mostert head over to Jared's team, Whiteout U. And in a trade for one swap, one Julio and 10 Fab for Mostert, I believe is what it was. I thought it was a pretty good trade, just kind of believing in who these other players are going to be and how they're going to do. But Mostert 1.9 is not how it was last week. I mean, I could definitely see why you started him. Had all the touches, and what's his name? The other running back was not even a factor back there last week. And it just seems Miami has a game by game decision when it comes to who they want as their lead back, who they want to getting most of the reps, and just going back and forth. Justin Jefferson, I heard, was his worst outing in his career so far in that Detroit game. Three catches, 14 yards. I mean, just dead quiet. Luckily, he still had the 6 targets. That's not going to change anything. You're going to still keep starting Justin Jefferson, but just worst game off of his career after last week's game. Not much better. Juju Smith-Schuster is starting to look more and more like the number 1 receiver there, and KC is starting to find himself fitting role there. Definitely wasn't my guy. Now I don't know how long, but Juju is starting to look like a safer and safer option. Higbee was a good start here, probably one of the better tight end starts. Liked them a lot. It's hard to tell. I mean, once you get past the top 3 tight ends, everything's a crapshoot. Brandon Cooks, low day in Chicago. Curtis Samuel, a lot of garbage time there in Washington. I think that's going to benefit you more than anything here in any type of Washington offense, or at least offensive player. Commanders 5 and Tampa Bay struggled against Green Bay. Same thing with the Bills. They struggle as well. I mean, looking into Zach's team here, great squad. Shouldn't really be 1-2 here. Gonna have some decisions to make afterwards with Swift out of the picture for the next couple weeks. It's not looking too great, but Melvin Gordon looked pretty good in that last matchup. For myself, I mean, if we're talking major injury news of the week, Jamal Williams and Alexander Madison, two guys that you're really gonna want to see maybe trades for or pickups if they're on your waiver wire. But for us in our league, at least, I reap all the benefits for holding these names on my bench and not letting anybody go, because I really was thinking Madison, Jamal Williams was a pickup for me about a week and a half ago that I really liked, bottom low, I think for 5 fab. So working out for my, love it. And it went off with Swift not in the picture there. So everything else, I think we're looking pretty good. I mean, Christian McCaffrey, though, I think you got to look at Christian McCaffrey and look at him as last year's week and put him in. You're going to get 12, 15, 16 points a week. Put him in, forget it. Play him and forget him. That's all you're going to do, because I don't think we're going to get those 40-point games anymore out of Christian. And it's a trade-off for longevity, hopefully, that we're going to get a consistent 15, 20 points out of CMC instead of like the 4 or 5 games of 40 points and then the threat of major injury every time he goes on the field. So it's a give and take there. It's a real give and take. Aaron Jones, flat week, not too worried. I know I did see that he lost the fumble though, so probably part of the reason why he was. All right, let's roll into these other matchups real quick, because I didn't really get a good chance to take a deep dive. I know we had a great matchup against Steven and Jared here, which I think is the biggest headline of the week, one of them at least, in that in the Denver San Francisco game. Russell Wilson struggling. I mean, struggling. We have Russell here at 20 completions out of 33. I really thought it was a lot less with the numbers that we have here for 184 yards. Did have 6 carries, 17 yards, but 4 sacks. I mean, it was uglier than it looks like on the stat sheet. It was very hard to watch. I don't know at this point if it's just the new location for Russell or if it's head coach or a mix of everything else, new team. Trying to just make things work out in the best way they can. Seems like every week it's not getting better, if not worse. Man, it's tough. But Kirk Cousins, a great option. Still though, I think he had Tua and Tom Brady on his bench. Steven is probably the most confusing to me this year, with one getting rid of all of his fab in the first 2.5 weeks. Don't know what that's about. You pick up your guys when you can. The Greg Wilson pickup was part of that, and the Tua was part of that pickup. But to not start him, I don't know what you're doing. And Jeff Wilson as well, which he also did not start. So I don't know. Steve usually has a method to his madness. I don't know what it is so far, but Godspeed, buddy. But yeah, tried to. Talking about the Irvine Goats here. Got to throw the drop in there. It's just so interesting to see, like, the plays that he's making. I need to get a hold of Steve and talk to him about some of his plays here, because he's got a solid team, but now he has no fab and 2 Jets players that he could potentially start, and that scares me. Also, Cam Akers. What do you do here? A lot of confusion, at least in my eyes. Have to talk to him about that. Let's talk about wideout U. The wideout U with Jared's team. That's kind of loud, huh? That's pretty loud. Fun fact: that song, Sunday Night Theme, is called Wide Receiver. wide receiver. Anyway, 110 in a close matchup. Really should have been Jared's game with the last two players going up against Steve's team being Russell Wilson and Jerry Jeudy. But 2.7 points out of Jerry Jeudy on 17 yards of receiving and a 7.6 out of Russell. That should have been all in the bag. That should have been in the bag. And would have put me alone at 3-0, but Steve's going to squeak away with a win here. Two teams that I think actually look really good. Just, they got to find their mix. One thing about Jared's team I do like the most is his kicker, Younghoe Koo. And I think it's hilarious that Steve dropped him still to this day. I think he's kicker number 1. It's not even close. All right, so let's go into next. Brown Harry Chubb and the Singer Sly Dogs, 151 to 121. Diego with a great showing this week, actually. I know he had a hard loss. This was it last week. And looking really solid. I think one of the top teams in play and points this week. Let's go ahead and start with the Brown Harry Chubb. And thinking of a drop, it was really hard to, to figure something out here. So here's what we got.
What the hell is even that?
Brown Harry Chubbs is who we got. And what the hell is even that? I would say the best thing going for Diego's team by far is Jalen Hurts, who is at this point my personal number 1 for the MVP for this season. 32 points of 3 touchdowns and 20 yards rushing and 340 throwing. So a solid performance yet again against Washington. And had that game wholeheartedly all the way through. Najee is looking good. It's just Pittsburgh's not looking so good. Nick Chubb as well as Kareem Hunt on the roster combining for over 28 points. It's a move. I mean, it's technically a move. 2 running backs out of Cleveland on a week-to-week start basis. I don't believe in it, but it's working for him. 151 points. I don't think there's room to talk. Jalen Waddle, another great pickup. A.J. Brown. I mean, Freiermuth, Pierce, Hunt, Tucker, Baltimore. This is a really good team. A really solid 2-1 team. Putting the lights out on Josh, who is now 0-3. Slinger Sly Dogs, man. It's looking rough. One of my teams that were definitely here in full-blown panic mode. We're talking full-blown panic mode at 0-3. Let's just look over the roster and break it down really quick. With Matt Stafford leading in charge at quarterback. I mean, 3 points in week 1, 23 against Atlanta, and 11 points against Arizona in a divisional game. I still think that they're going to be able to figure some things out there, but it is looking rough, man. Joe Mixon, Cincinnati still finding the ground underneath them. That will come back here soon. Just going to take a little bit of time there. Saquon looked great today against Dallas. They used him a lot. He's still getting all the carries. They're looking for him in the backfield. Daniel Jones is fighting for his life back there every time. So the dump off to Saquon is a safe bet week to week. CeeDee Lamb almost had 2 touchdowns and a bad drop in the first half. Bad drop. Easy touchdown, but saves his day with a touchdown, 87 yards. Not a lot of believers. I feel a great pickup with Rush in his smart throwing. Great backup so far, showing it undefeated, 3-0 in his 3 starts. DK Metcalf had a great touchdown. Geno Smith is, I think, the most accurate quarterback in the league so far, statistically. Just not a lot of opportunities, not a lot of deep ball threats. But it will be a solid, 10, 13. And they got to move the ball somehow. So DK is a good start. Zach Ertz, a great start with the limited options they have there in Arizona. Pittman finally looking like the receiver he's supposed to be. And Matt Ryan just not having the time to get the ball into his hands, really. Damian Harris is a great week start. And looking forward, something to think about Mac Jones and this injury that came up. It looked bad. They're saying it's a high ankle sprain, going to take him out at least 3 to 4 weeks. I think he will end up as on the what do you call it? The freaking gosh, you know what I'm talking about. Put him on the list where he's injured for at least 4 weeks. The injured reserve. There we go. Kicker defense, Rams special. Go with the guys. But then P. Ryan, Penny, Woods, Mooney, Schultz. That's rough, man. Schultz is out for probably the next couple weeks. Mooney is no longer with us in fantasy. Robert Woods, I think, is your best bet here out of everybody. Penny, though, I don't trust Seattle. I mean, to have DK and Penny and start them both on the same team, that's kind of rough for me. I like that. And then P. Ryan. Just Joe Mixon insurance there. Did have a good day, but I'm not seeing the week to week potential here. I think you're fighting for a win every week, scraping for every point you can. So I don't know. I think Josh is the number one team to have to make some moves here, figure something out on the waiver wire, trades, like finesse things to happen because it's not looking great out the gate. But a lot of things change, injuries happen, trades to be made, waiver wires to be claimed. A lot of season left to play here. On the other hand, Tavo, they got a lot of heavy hitters here. Has the potential to make another run here. Let's move quickly into. I'm sorry, was that Tavo? Steven. Move quickly into Zach and Christian. Another tough loss for Christian here. Another team that we full-blown panic mode after being 0-3 in this season. And, having Lamar Jackson really helps out the line. There's a little bit of inspiration. Throw down theme song here. We got D'Alvin cooking with the Llamas, so a lot of potential here. We got Lamar Jackson, Dalvin Cook, Alvin Kamara, Debo Samuel, Mike Williams, Darren Waller, Rashad Bateman, Elijah Moore, Carlson, Chargers. I mean, that sounds like a great team in my eyes. It does not sound like an 0-3 team at all. Even on your bench here, Julio, Kenneth Walker, J.K. Dobbins, Chase Edmonds, a lot of options here. Just doesn't seem like it should be 0-3 at this point. Real tough to start out this way. Good luck in the future here, because man, that is rough. I will say, week 2 against us, that should not have happened. That was the craziest thing I've ever seen. Aaron Jones and the Bills and Greg Joseph, the kicker out of Minnesota, saved my week that day. Shouldn't have been you. Going into the Yetis real quick. 2-1. 2-1 when I really do think they should have been 1-2, maybe 0-3. But Joe Burrow finally has a day, saves Zach's fantasy week. Austin Eckler, though, what do you do with Austin Eckler? We'll talk about that another day, but man, it is getting rough out there. Jamal Williams, another good decent game. Stephon Diggs, tough Miami game. T. Higgins got obliterated again. I'm worried about this dude's health in the rest of the season, man, because taking some shots. Gerald Everett, solid for what happened in Jacksonville, considering. Marquise Brown is fantastic as the only real threat there in Arizona. James Robinson is coming back from the freaking dead. He is going off 20 points, 17 points, 23 points. The number 2 running back right now. And I mean, I love him. He's a start every week. Start him. Don't even think about it. He's going to go off. The Jaguars in general are looking incredible. 38-10 against the Chargers, man. Wouldn't bet that in 1,000 games. But wow. Incredible performance from James Robinson. And I think it's only going to get better, even with the kind of idea of having those 2 running backs with Travis Etienne involved. I just think James Robinson is so good, coming back thankfully off that ACL there, looking really good. McPherson, another great kicker there. And Chicago, I understand you go and throw them over Houston, but Houston's a more complete team. I would have went with Dallas here. I mean, 2-point difference, not that crazy, but no bias. Devontae Smith here is the biggest star of the week here for Zach. Do you throw him in every week? I'd say at least he's an everyday flex. Oh yeah, J Rob, love him. I love him. I mean, if we're talking about trade value here, because I think week 3, I'm gonna talk about this tomorrow. I'm gonna get a nice quick little a stream going on, and I want to talk about trade values and how does that kind of look. What's the landscape of trade values considering all the, at this point in the first month of football, busts in the first round. We're seeing a lot of heavy hitters at wide receiver, but a lot of those first round running backs kind of gone quiet. And now when you see values like James Robinson, Aaron Jones, I guess is a second round technically, just going off. Where do you put that value between guys like Christian McCaffrey, Eckler, Robinson? Kind of figure out what those look like and kind of have to get a new landscape on what is equal and what's the equal balance to the value here. So we'll see what that looks like tomorrow. But solid squad going in. Man, I like it. I think we have one more real quick. Tavo, and this was the matchup of the night today. Tavo took a little quick loss here at the very end of it with the Zeke touchdown, and then Hunter finally getting the things going here now for him. Let's see. Let's go with Hunter here in the drop.
A little something for your trouble. Gold. Huh? Oh, it's just a little plastic treasure chest. Plastic!
All right. The Fool's Gold go and grab the dub over Tavo and the Mean Machines. Big play from Derrick Henry. And I was listening to footballers. Just keep an eye out, Hunter, if you're even watching. You got to keep a track with the weather in Virginia. If there's snow in Virginia, you start him. Don't even think about it. If it's dry, you might have to pull him back into a flex spot. I mean, you got to start him no matter what. I think the biggest question here is Ezekiel Elliott. What the hell do you do with Zeke at this point? Even me watching him week to week, it's really tough to figure out what his role is because he will run it consistently well. He's running a lot better than he was last year, I think. He's not getting really the volume that kind of falls with that. And as well, I think the offensive line play is kind of in part of that, but they're not getting the ball in his hands too many times. 1 catch for 2 yards, 15 carries for 70 yards. Had a couple good, big, long runs. Got the quick goal line attempt in the end zone there. But it's not looking great, man. Not looking great at all. And we'll dive into that for sure tomorrow because there's a lot of trade talks. I think a lot of teams hitting that panic button. Got to make some things move. Make some moves happen at least. Amari Cooper, former Cowboy, looking great in Cleveland, even with Brissett at the helm. 7 for 11, 1-1, and a touchdown. Great work there. Cleveland found the end zone once for 60 yards. The Canucks kind of fallen back into a lesser role, I think, in that offense there in Buffalo. Montgomery took a bad injury here. Let's see. Knee ankle day to day. I don't think he's going to make it to next week. So probably a high bid option for the guy behind him. Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Somebody I liked at the beginning of the draft is starting to come alive a little bit now. Maybe some potential trade value there. Robbie Gould, solid. Cleveland, okay. Let's roll through just to see how close it was here and going into the Madeira Mean Machines.
Mean Machine!
Okay, that is a lot of shit. I will fix that. Yeah, but sorry, lost to Zeke here. But that Herbert display was uncalled for. It shouldn't have happened to you. Really tough loss there. 15 points. I mean, after having a couple turnovers, sacks, everything. 25 for 45, I think, is the biggest thing there. I don't know how they did it, but they stifled Justin Herbert. I'm going to say it's half Jags defense, half Justin's ribcage. Part of why they only had 15 points there in a game they should have easily won. James Conner was another questionable start that, as in questionable in health to start. Ended up with 8.5 against the Rams. Not too bad. Josh Jacobs was another potential injury that was, I think, last minute, where they said, yeah, we're going to go ahead and start him. Ended with 12. Cooper Kupp, 14.5. Always start him. Always amazing. Sutton still great there with 8 for 97. Kittle probably should have seen a lot more work, but I think Denver did a great time to stifle him and anything he tried to do coming off his, I think, potential groin injury. Still took the loss with the big-time Cordero Patterson game. That's terrible. I mean, 1 for 12 yards, a touchdown, 17 carries for 140, and another touchdown. Damn, dude. Christian Kirk, too. That's another guy I like a lot. Probably going to be trying him out there. Man, let's see. If he would have put up the Derek Carr against Tennessee, that would have gave him the dub right there. I mean, you got 2 quarterbacks, so maybe you should have put him in there, because I don't know. I was thinking that, like, even with Herbert and the bruised, messed up ribs, I just didn't trust it. I thought maybe he would have been pulled halfway through the game. I don't know. Beyond that, man, I think he got a really solid squad. Just took a really tough L today. More of a win on Hunter's part there. I think it really came down to the snow in Virginia between this match. Honestly, that's can't do nothing about that. But yeah, just really wanted to test out. Really wanted to test out a lot of the streaming capabilities for today. Kind of a rough draft, nothing too crazy. First stream totally shitted on me. All the audio was messed up, but this is why we do this. This is why we here in this, making these things happen. Definitely a lot more to talk about in the matchups for next week. Want to go over kind of trade values. I want to go over waiver wires. I want to recap by time Friday rolls. We'll have a couple little short streams. I'll do semi-daily, maybe like every other day when I get the time. So also want to get capabilities where, you know, can throw somebody else on the line here. Discussion about some of this stuff. So, you know, we're going to kind of get the ball rolling here. This is one little rough attempt here at it all. We'll be better, and we'll come back with more. So, that's probably gonna do it for me. Okay, I'm just gonna keep some plays going on while we end the stream for today. I'll see you tomorrow.
Welcome to the ESFFL podcast.